Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. The first story about the awful boss who ended up doing the work for our OP. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. And our first story: a cursed handover to a terrible boss. A few years back, I was working in a law firm and had a dreadful boss. She was lazy, took credit for my work, couldn't do anything herself, although she was completely dependent on me as she couldn't use any of our systems or basically do anything competently. She still treated me and everyone else around her like crap. Only people she treated well were the partners whose butt she kissed. Anyway, I got sick of her pretty quickly and found another job. When I gave my notice, there was an obvious panic from her as she realized she needed me to get her crap done. Everything was handover, handover, handover. She needed detailed, specific instructions from me written up on everything. We put together a list of topics she needed, and it was pretty much War and Peace in size, and confirmation of the fact that she didn't know how to do anything, even stuff that was essential to her job that she'd obviously never learned and had me do instead. So I set up a folder on our network labeled Handover and put together my first topic, which was probably something about updating the company website or doing a campaign email. Sat down with boss and said, this is what I'll be doing for the whole list of topics she'd given me. She was thrilled. It was exactly what she needed. So over the course of my 4 weeks' notice, she would ask me how it was going, and I would show her the ever-growing folder of documents, all labeled up, website updates, campaign emails, PR contacts, event checklist, etc., etc. On my last day, there must have been about 50 or so docs in there, all with the essential information she needed to do my job and hers. Little did she know, she was so lazy she never took the time to check, that only one of the files, the first one I showed her, contained anything. The rest was just a long list of docs I created and named, but they were all empty. Nothing in them at all. I would love to have seen her face when she went in to finally read through all the notes after I'd left the company. Apparently my department went downhill very quickly after I left, and my ex-boss left a couple of months after I did as it became apparent she was unable to do anything. Petty, but deeply satisfying. And our second story. You don't want to pay for the repair? Well, I guess I'll see you in court. For context, I've always loved classic cars. My first car was a 1979 Dodge Magnum GT, but it died on me and I couldn't get it to work again. I sold it for scrap in late October 2017, and I saved every penny I could to get another classic car. I went without eating during my lunches at work. I was dedicated to getting a classic car. I was in 11th grade at the time, so I could only work 24 hours a week at $9.50 an hour. So by the time I had saved $3,000, I was ready to find a car. I found a 1974 Pontiac Catalina in late March 2018. It was a Pontiac 400 cubic inch V8, de-restricted, removing emission control systems, it's legal in Michigan, given performance parts like an Edelbrock carburetor, and was paraded around as a show car across the state. I was in love. Everything from the maroon paint to the white vinyl roof to the aftermarket police hubcaps. I bought it, and it was my crowning achievement so far in life. Fast forward a few months. I'd been driving the Catalina daily every day since I bought it and was planning on going on a road trip around Lake Michigan later in the summer. It was the last summer break of high school, and I wanted to celebrate by doing this grand road trip. It was the day before my 18th birthday. It was nice to go cruising around in a 70s land yacht. I pull up to an intersection close to my house. I was driving and both of my parents were in the car. We stop at the intersection at a green light because an early 2000s F-150 was trying to do an illegal turn. Michigan has a weird road design thing called the Michigan turnaround. This isn't the first time I saw someone do this, so I didn't think twice. I look up and the light turned yellow. I said aloud, "I'm going to wait this light out. I don't want to get out there when the light turns red." And then the entire car lurches forward. I immediately shifted into park and get out. A red 02 or 03 Pontiac Montana, undamaged, had bumped into my Catalina, damaged. We pulled into a Denny's and waited for the police to arrive. I chat with my mom about what to do. She told me about a mini tort claim. It was the only thing I could do with PLPD insurance. I could only go after the other driver if I had over $1,000 in damages on my car. I went around my hometown and found a single shop that would even attempt to work on my Catalina, and their estimate was $1,675. I couldn't believe it, and he was even knocking $200 off because I knew him. With this, I was able to start a mini tort claim. A week goes by and I get a call from an unknown number. I like to F with the phone scammers who say my warranty is out of date. I answer while I was taking a crap before I needed to go to work, and the call went something like this. Insurance company rep. Hello, is this OP? Me. Yeah, why? Insurance company rep. I see you issued a claim about an accident involving a Catalina. Me. Yes, I did. Insurance company rep. Well, the person who hit you doesn't have that on his policy. Me. What does that mean? Will I get any money from him? Insurance company rep. Nope. Have a great day. He hangs up. I panicked and was nearly late to work trying to figure out what was going on. I called my insurance company and they told me to sue. I had a cut and dry case and I would get the same amount of money if I sued, so that's what I did. I gathered everything I needed and filed the claim with the small claims court. A month and a half later, court date. This is the first time I could talk to him directly and not through insurance companies. The judge asks me, my parents, and the other driver and his girlfriend to step into a small room to see if we can settle this matter privately. His girlfriend starts the conversation at me. I was the only one who sat down for this. Driver's girlfriend. You were in the intersection when we hit you. You should have gone through the light. Driver. And where did you get this $1,675 figure? I hit a tree going 40 when I was your age, and it only cost me $800. Parents. The age of the vehicle is the reason the repair cost is so high. Me. You also made the bumper cut through fiberglass moldings on both sides, you bent the frame, and bent the entire bumper up. Not only is it an outdated platform, but I need to get 1974 parts because that's the only body panels that will fit. The age and rarity of the parts is what caused the prices to be higher in this case. Driver's girlfriend. Well, you shouldn't have been driving a car that old. Me. You shouldn't have assumed that I would have gone through the yellow light. We didn't come to an agreement before the trial. I went into the courtroom expecting a long and heated legal battle. The case didn't even last 5 minutes. The judge said to the driver, you both saw the truck do the illegal turn, and you both saw the yellow light. Driver should have slowed due to an obstruction, and OP stopped because of it. It's the law in the state of Michigan to stop at a yellow light if it's safe to do so. The case goes to the plaintiff, me. Court's adjourned. The driver's still paying me his installment checks to this day. And our last story. One-party consent recordings, the kryptonite of a-hole supervisors. I'm a paramedic, and after many years of working regular ground ambulance, I decided I had enough. My whole career, I was either a glorified Uber driver, being spit on by drunks, bit by meth heads, or chauffeuring people between hospitals, though once in a blue moon I saved a life. There isn't a lot of different jobs you can parlay an EMS career into, so I elected to move into the private sector and got a job doing basically the same thing at a mine in a remote environment, worked 2 weeks straight with 2 weeks off, less stress and an enviable salary. On the surface, this was a sweet gig, almost heaven compared to the regular stretcher jockey job I came from, and it would have been such if not for the absolute psychopath who managed the EMS services out there. I didn't work directly from the mine's operator, instead I was employed by a contractor. The coordinator, my local boss, as he was called, was a golden boy as far as the mine company was concerned. There wasn't a butt he didn't kiss or a bigwig he wouldn't suck up to, and I admit he could be charming, quite adept at impersonating a human being, actually. It wasn't long before I discovered he reserved decency for everyone but his subordinates. His behavior started out as petty micromanaging, which was irritating, but then progressed to insults, put-downs, name-calling, hey dumbbutt was his usual way to get my attention, and outright hostility. The man clearly enjoyed being a small-time workplace despot and knew he could get away with it because of his reputation with our paymasters. It was around the 2-month mark before I really warmed up to my coworkers. There were 8 of us, including myself, and the dip crap in chief. Not a single one of them spoke a nice word about him. Most were resigned to him acting like a massive C-word because the 2-week holiday every month, along with the pay rate. They also told me every complaint only fell on deaf ears, provoked retaliation, and again, his relationship with the client made him untouchable. This is when I started recording everything and did so with these two assumptions. 1, the company would only act with serious proof of malfeasance. 2, his acts of bastardry would only escalate. Neither assumption proved false. I had nearly 3 months of audio tapes of him being just his regular a-hole self before he went too far. About a week into the shift, I showed up to our station and was called into his office only to be informed I was being let go and my replacement would be there in a few hours. I was to go back to our accommodations, pack my crap up, and report back there. Well, F, I thought, before doing as I was bidden. Upon arriving back to the office with my suitcases, this sadist started laughing and said, "No one's coming to replace you. You're so effing gullible." It was a mock firing, and I'm sure he feverishly rubbed himself to it later that night. I was livid and let loose on him, finally ending a tirade with a hint. Can you imagine what the office would do if they heard all this bullcrap? Unrepentant to the last, he coldly stared at me before replying, "Can you imagine what they would do if a bunch of empty beer cans turned up and I told the office I saw you drinking?" Having recorded all this and knowing my glorious victory was assured, I feigned capitulation to carry on with my day. My first day off, I sent in a detailed letter to the company along with recordings, and as expected, they fired his butt. What came after was righteous, cackling laughter for hours. I wonder, is this how Napoleon felt after winning at Austerlitz? Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.